the longevity.
I think that's what Newcastle are doing now. We've bought a lot of young players coming in, so all the new targets that we've been linked with are all
your
pretty
first big signing of the summer, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Sven Botman. We've been looking at him since January now, and we had 2 bids for him in January knocked down because Lille didn't really want to sell him at the time, and then obviously we've gone back in for him this summer. But even then, there's been a bit of a tussle between sort of AC Milan. They were in for him as well. They had offers on the table. I think that even Botman himself actually came out and said, "Look, I prefer to go to the San Siro." But obviously we've won the race. We've got the money.
He's highly touted, highly rated.
He is, yeah.
Why do you think Newcastle have won that race to sign him?
Probably the project, I would say. I mean, if you look at all the players that we have, he's going to come in, probably first team. He's going to be a first team player, isn't he? He's going to start straight away. He wants to play in the Premier League as well, so definitely going into the Premier League is going to be a big deal for him. Would you want to go to Italy or would you go to the Premier League? I think you'd probably want to play in the Premier League.
What's the wage structure he's on?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet what the wage structure.
Because the deal paying out the big mega wages yet.
No. We still have a wage structure, and from what I've heard, the signings that we've made have all fit the previous wage structure that we had under Mike Ashley. So all well and good actually. Because if you look at the players that we've been linked with, you would expect them all to be on like mega wages, right? And we have the money to pay anyway. But the structure that we have has been really well actually.
What's the wage structure under Mike Ashley then? Do you have to pay him to play at the club or something like that? I wouldn't be surprised, something like that, yeah. No, I think you've done very well because you've not let anyone hold you over the barrel.
Exactly.
That's not you. I mean Newcastle.
Yeah.
You're over the barrel all the time.
But I mean with Newcastle, I mean the fees that we've paid for some of the transfers as well has been kind of reasonable for the quality of the player that we've got, right?
Yeah, you've got some pretty good.
Yeah, some really good deals, right? Like Nick Pope for like 10 million in England.
Like Nick Pope.
England international goalkeeper. I think if he plays well this year, he can definitely replace Jordan Pickford to be number 1.
Quite possibly.
I think so. I think Everton are on a downhill slope, aren't they? Don't you think?
Yeah. Is that one of the situations where you is that the Everton bashing starts already?
It started.
Yes, it started. A few bad results at the start of the season, and Lampard's kind of book his favourite to go, that kind of situation.
I would think so. I mean, they scraped by the skin of their teeth just to stay up, didn't they? Really,
there was acceptable for a club of their size to be.
If you look at the squad that they have, that's probably about where they're at, isn't it? Really, just hovering above relegation. To be honest, I think looking at their squad, they've got an aging squad. There's no youth players except the Gordon. He's pretty decent. You got likes of Tom Davis, hasn't really performed that well.
Yeah, he burst on the scene, and then he's one of those guys where they've just kind of plateaued.
Same Dominic Calvert-Lewin again. I mean, if you look at it, if those players come into next season fully fit, they might be able to, mount some kind of season out of them.
At the very least, they should be mid-table.
Yeah, mid-table.
You think so?
Yeah, I reckon. They're too big to be down.
What do you mean mid-table? What position do you think they should be then?
Mid-table.
What's mid-table to you?
Or even the top half of the table.
No way.
I think they've got.
I don't think it should be top half of the table.
The player we're trying to bring in now, Richarlison, is a quality player. I have to big him up now. I'm not.
Yeah, but
after what I just said, I'm joking.
If you look at all the teams now, would you think Everton played better than Leicester, than Wolves, than West Ham?
Maybe we're looking at it on paper, and they've got some.
I don't know.
Decent players. Is it
when you say that,
Yeremina,
yeah,
is he still there?
He's at Everton, yeah.
They've got the England goalkeeper, who doesn't really. He's not exactly outstanding for Everton, is he?
Well, England's number 2 is Nick Pope, and he's got relegated with Burnley. So, I mean, it doesn't really make a difference.
This is very true. Yep, Jordan Pickford for England, pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
Maybe not recently, but in the Euros, he was great.
Yeah, I guess so.
Who else in Newcastle bringing? How many do you think there'll be by the end of the window?
There'll be 2 more, I think. 2 more.
I thought you're bringing like half a dozen in.
Nah, I think the quality of the squad that we have now is pretty decent. We've got Nick Pope in goal to challenge Dubravka at number 1. Our backline is probably the strongest backline I've seen for many, many years now. We've got Trippier, Botman, Dan Burn, and then Matt Targett. That's our strongest defensive lineup I've ever seen at Newcastle. And if you think about all the defensive issues that we've had in the past, one of them has been left back. We haven't had a decent left back in probably about 10 years, and we've had players like Paul Dummett, a local lad, but he's just not really at the quality of what you need for a left back. And obviously I've mentioned this before, but he's got an extended 1-year contract. I don't know whether that was just because he was a local lad, but why would you give someone a 1-year contract? Like what would be the point in that?
If he's 33 and you give him a 1-year contract, that makes sense.
Fair enough, yeah, but he's not. I mean, he's kind of in the middle. He's not young that he's still learning his trade at left back, and he's also not super old that he's nearing his end of his career. I mean, if he went somewhere else, he'd probably get another 4-year deal somewhere else, I think.
So top 6 is the aim, you reckon, with this squad?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll be happy with top 8. Top 8, I think. Yeah.
Oh, it's competitive though, mate. It's going to be difficult to get in the top 6.
It is, yeah. I mean, for me, I'll be happy with top 8. Top 6 is a very big push. Big push from where we were. I mean, we finished 11th, which was very decent.
Yeah,
considering the second half. The second half of the season, and the first half was absolutely atrocious.
The way you started the first half of the season, I thought you'd be lucky to end up below the Championship, like League One or something. I thought that's where
it was horrible. It was horrible. So just watching some of those games like pre-Christmas, you're just like, oh God, that's not even worth watching. It was just horrible.
I remember the aggressive texts I was getting from you about it, and it was kind of nice because normally the aggressive texts are aimed at me, and it was nice to not be the bearing the brunt of it. It's aimed at Newcastle for once. It's reassuring,
So I do think we're going to get maybe 2 more in. I think we're looking at, obviously we've finished our goalkeeping, we've got all defence sorted. Midfield we're kind of packed, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going for Paqueta at Lyon, friend of Bruno's. He's not one that I think that we need straight away, but it would be decent to bring him in. I do like the look of him.
He's got those silky Brazilian skills and the back heels and the little tricks and flicks.
We've got a lot of Brazilians coming in now. We're linked with a lot of Brazilians, so I think he might be coming in. If you look at the next part, it's probably the right wing at the front, because we play a 4-3-3. So 4 at the back's fine,
and
3 in the middle.
Is not going anywhere?
I wouldn't think so.
Unless a crazy bid comes in or something.
If someone's going to offer 50-60 million for him, then I think we'd have a look at it. But I don't think he'd leave.
Do you need the money though?
No. That's the point though, isn't it? I mean, you have to look at every player's worth has their value, right? And if someone's going to offer way above their value, you have to look at it and be like, okay, just go. But for me, I think St. Maximin's probably worth about 35, like real market value. 35 to 40 million.
Right.
So I think if someone
we're trying to get 20 million for Harry Winks, Sam Maximin is well worth much more than Winks.
You'd think so, but his numbers, Premier League numbers,
you
aren't
mentioned
that great.
To me a few weeks ago about end product and
end product's not great. I mean, he's decent, but he's not the end product yet. He's not the end product. So I think that 35 to 40 million is probably his worth. If someone comes in offers 50-60, you'd be like, oh, maybe we'll have a look at that. So I don't know, but I think he's probably staying. Definitely staying. We still need a striker to replace Callum Wilson. He's injury prone. He's always out for about 4 months at a time, isn't he?
Yeah. You got Chris Wood?
Yeah, we got Chris Wood, but again, Chris Wood, I think he scored like 3 or 4 goals last season. We spent 25 million on him, and he can't even score. I think if you look at when he was playing last season, I was screaming at the TV watching him because he just couldn't hit a barn door, or like the balls would come to him and he'd get the ball, he'd move into position, and then he'd shoot, and you're like, oh, he's done something well, and the flag's gone up, it's offside. Yeah. I think it was one game he must have been offside more than 10 times in a row. 10 times just offside.
Not known to be a prolific goal scorer, just out of his
no.
depth.
Yeah, I mean, he is out of his depth, isn't he? He's not. He was at Burnley. We got him from Burnley. That's where his level is. Burnley got relegated. I think that's probably where his level is. I don't think he's gonna be part of this next Newcastle side moving forward. I don't think
he's part of the transitional part of it.
Yeah, he's definitely part of the transition. We bought him for 25 million to weaken another side who we were fighting against, and he kind of did the job. So
I think that was the primary function there.
Yeah, of
secondary
course.
function, if he sticks in a few, is all right.
I think next summer and the summer after, the real exciting time for
Yes.
Newcastle.
Yeah, it really depends on how well we do. The next season coming.
Well,